Hello everyone, today we're going to be going over an installation of Oracle Weblogic for Windows 7. So as you can see right now, I'm on Oracle's website. You just go ahead to the download tab, and what you're looking for is Fusion middleware, including Weblogic Server. Select that, accept the agreement, and what you're looking for is the Windows install. Go ahead and select download. Now if you don't have an Oracle account, you can create a free one right after you create it, and when you sign in, your download will begin immediately. I've already done this, so I'm not going to do that again. So in my download folder, you will see a file like this. Go ahead and start it up. This may take a while. Select yes, and it will go ahead and start installing. Will be a fairly big install, so you wanted to have at least 2 gigs of hard disk free. Go ahead and select next. Okay, first important thing is that when you do your install, you do not want any spaces in your install path. Java does not support spaces in their install path, and if you were to install it in, say, program files in which there's a space, what will happen is that when you run your local WebLogic on Windows 7, it probably will not work. So just keep it short and without spaces. So I'm just going to select the default, which is fine. For our purposes, we will not be using that, so we just unselect that. Typical install is fine. These are all fine. Make it available for all users. As you can see, it's going to be about 1.5 gigs of install. And at this point, I'm going to pause the video and I'll pick back up when it's done installing. Okay, we're back. And as you can see, completely installed. Run quick start. That's something that we will want to do, so you can just keep that checked. Go ahead and select done. We can close this out. So since this is a brand new WebLogic install, we'll select the first option. So what we're doing right now is we're going to be creating our WebLogic domain. So the WebLogic server, that's your server, that's your shell. The domain is going to contain is what's going to run all your projects. So all your, Java web services or your web pages. You can create multiple domains. For our purposes, we're going to be creating web services and also websites. So I'm going to select this one, the JAX WS, standing for web services. And then you want to name your domain. Again, you don't want to have any spaces in it. So I'm just going to call this my web domain because that's what it's going to be running. And the username and password is only going to be for your domain that's going to be running on your box. So you don't have to make it anything complicated. What I would suggest is something like WebLogic 1 to make it simple and easy to remember. And click next. You really don't need any of these. And go ahead and hit create. Once this is complete, we're going to go ahead and go into Eclipse. You don't want this checked. You're not going to need to start this. So we're done here. We're going to close it out. So what we've done is we've created our domain. And now what we need to do is we need to go into our Eclipse, which is going to be our IDE. That's where all our code is going to be developed. So we want to link Eclipse and then WebLogic and then time both to the domain. So just want to click Oracle Enterprise Pack for Eclipse. Go ahead and start that up. For my purposes, I'm going to change where I want to keep my projects uh, right in the same place where I put my Oracle installation. So in here, under my Oracle folder, I'm going to create a new folder called, this is just, you can create it anywhere you want, but for my purposes, this is where I would like it. Take that. Right. So as soon as this boots up, go ahead and go to your workbench. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to change our perspective. So you go ahead and go to Windows, open perspective, and we want to go to Java EE. After we do that, you go ahead and click on this tab. You right click down here, and we're going to build our WebLogic server. So now you can build other servers besides WebLogic servers, obviously. But for this demo, we're going to be building a WebLogic server. I am just going to select the latest one. If this is something that you're going to be doing for a company you work for, or a project in which they have a specific WebLogic server already built, you want to go ahead and select the ones that is already running. But for our purposes, we're just going to select the latest one. Hit next. Then we're going to hit browse, and where we're going to be going is we're going to be going back to where we installed Oracle. So it's Oracle. Then you want to go to middleware, and then you're looking for WL server 12.1. And when you select OK, it'll get all of its files that it needs. Domain directory, that was the domain that we created. So you can go to known domains, select your web domain in which you created, click next. You don't have any projects right now, so we just hit finish. And there is your WebLogic server down here. So to test whether or not this works, we're just going to go ahead and create a very quick project. We're going to select dynamic web pages. And I'll say com because it's a website, and we'll say YouTube. And then we can say 3082. And then we can hit finish. And there it is. Wait for it to load. It's still loading down. We'll go to web contents, and then we'll right click, and then we'll create. Oh, I already said index.html. And then in the body, we'll just say hello world. You can go ahead and save that. So we're going to come down here to our WebLogic server. We're going to right click. We're going to say add remove. We're going to take the project that we just created, add it over, hit finish, and then you can run your WebLogic server in debug mode, or you can just start the server. Most of the time you'll probably go into debug mode because you can put stop points on anything that you deploy to your WebLogic server. So we'll go ahead and start that up. Allow. This may take a few minutes depending on how quickly your machine is. once your WebLogic server starts up, you'll notice that your perspective changes. You can easily toggle back and forth up here. So you can go back to your Java EE perspective, or you can go back into debug mode. I'll go ahead and just stick with this perspective. As you can see, it's deployed and it's been synchronized. So what we can do now is we can go to our web page. We should be able to type, we'll go host colon 7001 slash and whatever our project name is. So our project name is com YouTube 3082. Hit enter. That. The www. And there we go. You need the HTTP colon slash. If we were to use another browser, you probably most likely will not have to add that in. So if we copy that, we go to Chrome. You wouldn't need to add that in. But there you go. That's the installation of a WebLogic server. So you can create all of your projects over here. And then when you need to deploy it, you just go to server, make sure it's down here, and then you can click, highlight this, and you can go ahead and republish any new changes that you put in, or you can stop it and start it. Okay. Thank you.